Pudge wants to film today. Come here, babe. Lay down. Oh, I forgot my sparkling water. Hi guys, ow, I hit my face. We're back. The used to be headless YouTuber and her trusty pug Pudge back with another video. Today I think is going to be a quick one. I have a gnarly headache, but it's the only day this week that I can film, so I've got to get it done. I was going to show you 20 plants today that I grew from a stump or from a single leaf, but I don't have it in me to do that many plants today. So I think that I pulled 10. I think I have 10 plants that I'm going to show you today that I either grew from one leaf, a chonk, a stem, just basically like a one leaf. It wasn't like a full established plant. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, 10. I've got 10 plants. So we're just gonna get straight into it because my brain is it's throbbing. I'm probably gonna put him away in the bedroom. We just got back from our walk, so he's still very, very panty, but he's attached to my hip today. I know that some of you guys really miss having him snorting in the background, but my ADHD is it's too bad lately, and I'm actually getting that sorted right now, which I will explain in a different video. But my brain is it's like a one track, any small sound, it distracts me. So yeah, anyway, I've got to put him away. Hey, do you want a treat? You want a treat? Okay. Whoa. Got my sparkling water. I know I said I was gonna buy a soda stream, you guys, but taxes this year it was too much. I'm so broke right now. It's painful. It's painful. Okay. I have to keep my phone on me because I'm expecting a call. Sorry. The first one is one that you have seen on this channel before, but I feel like I haven't shown it in a while. This is my Philodendron Burle Marks variegated. It used to be bigger. I chopped it for my mom. I chopped it for, I can't remember if I chopped it for Jing. Oh, I need to chop it for Jing. It's getting so tall. The variegation has stayed pretty stable on this thing, but I do get the occasional green leaf. I used to chop them off, and I've just felt so bad that I stopped doing that, and I'm just gonna kind of let it do whatever it wants. Like I said, it used to be much, much bigger. And then Erin had this on her wish list, and I think we just did a straight trade, and I gave her my entire plant. I didn't even take a cutting. And then as the plant started to grow in Erin's care, she's like, I need to chop it now. And so she gave me back a cutting, and the cutting was pretty big, but I chopped the one leaf off that had the best variegation, and I just kind of isolated it. And yeah, it's just kind of popped off since then. So it was one leaf, but it was a pretty big stem, I would say. And yeah, we just got this big old plant. So I am very, very happy about this, except I've started to get sort of a weird I don't know if it's a fungal thing or if it's caused by EFN, because this is a super, super EFN heavy plant. But you guys can see sort of on this all white green leaf, there's these red specks on there that never used to be there. And I can kind of see some red speckling on the back, but I kind of have a feeling that it's just EFN burn. I don't know. Anyway, I love this plant so much. It's so easy to care for. I would say that this is probably my easiest philodendron. It is super drought resistant. Even if I let this go long periods of being dry between remembering to fill my vessel, it's not super dramatic. It doesn't just wilt right away. I feel like it can kind of hold on to that water a little bit longer than other philodendrons. And when I do water it, it perks up so fast. It doesn't show any stress. Sorry. Yeah, it's just been very, very resilient and just really good to me. After I posted this on YouTube a couple months ago, there were some people that messaged me asking for the care of it because they struggled with it. I can't really tell you guys anything more than the fact that it has really loved Lechuzapon and it's loved no drainage. This one isn't, I don't think it's a super heavy feeder. I never foliar spray this. I only fertilize it once in a while from the very diluted mix that I have in my pump sprayer. And it just continues to push out growth. I feel like This one is just one of those super, super robust growers that's gonna grow crazy for you, even though you're not trying that hard. And if you take a look at this stem situation, I don't understand what the pattern is of growth. I feel like it just pushes out from wherever it wants and wherever it can find space. Like there are like 5 bajillion growth points everywhere and it just doesn't stop. So even though it's getting really tall, I do have like a lot of secondary growth points happening down the stem, so it should fill in nicely. I believe that this is a climber, so I probably should get it on a pole, although I'm not really trying to like size these leaves up, to be honest. I would rather it just be like nice and bushy because I have it on my shelf. Lately, I have been trying to see like how big I can size up some of my leaves, but I'm very selective about which ones those are. I do own certain plants solely to keep it in a certain place in my house, like this one, and don't mind the huge gap in my shelf. I'm filming another YouTube video and doing a whole thing. So this is one of those plants that I'm not like, oh, let's see how big I can grow it. It's one of those that I'm like, I wanted something variegated on the shelf. I wanted something that would grow easily in low humidity, something that would fill in the space really nicely. So this is kind of doing what I need it to do. And even though the leaves are, I mean, the leaves are fairly decent size for not being on a pole. And I wouldn't mind if they all just stayed this size forever. I just kind of wish it was a little bit bushier because it's super sparse here and it's just, yeah. But otherwise, I love this plant so much. If you are looking for a philodendron to grow outside of a greenhouse that is fairly easy to acclimatize out, in my experience, this guy is it. So moving on. This is my Philodendron El Choco Red. I grew this one from a leafless stump. I got it from my friend Hannah. We did a trade. I gave her one of my variegated soderoids. I'm not going to talk about this situation because I have no explanation. I actually did this on camera in a repot and chat. I wanted to be able to propagate or like root. Oh, and now I'm talking about it, so let's just talk about it. I basically just wanted to be able to push out roots from the somewhat long stem, but I didn't want moss roots. I wanted lechuzapan roots because I eventually want to repot this and get the whole stem submerged, or as much of the stem submerged as I can. But even though it looks kind of crazy, I'm really surprised at how much it's grown. It's been sort of a slower grower for me. The first few leaves that came out of this, when I propagated it from a stem, they were about this small and they would stay this small. They weren't sizing up. I've probably gone through like, I don't know, 7 of these size leaves. And it wasn't until I did this weird situation that it started growing like crazy in terms of like the leaf size. So where I saw the most, I guess, tremendous growth was from this leaf right here. And then it pushed out this one. So the size difference, I would say, is pretty significant. And I can tell by the looks of this emergent leaf that it's going to be larger than this one, because this emergent leaf, when it was emerging, was not this big. So that's really exciting. This is one of those plants that like I was super in love with when I didn't own one, and I would see photos of it and I just loved it so much. I think maybe some of you guys remember when the El Choco Red was super, super hyped. It was, oh, sorry, I'm filming another video and I just see that I have low battery. So for a while there on Instagram, they were just everywhere and I felt like I could not run away from the El Choco Red. So when I had the opportunity to import it, I imported like 4 of them, I think. And I don't really know, like, they were really big, they were really nice, but I didn't love them the way that I thought that I would. Not because it's not beautiful, it's just, I don't know. I think once you have a certain amount of like velvety climbing philodendrons, it kind of gets blended in with the rest of them, and it was just one of those that I didn't care for really after a while, and so I ended up selling all of them. But then when I had the opportunity to get a stump from my friend Hannah, mostly because I just really like owning plants that I've grown from friends, and I didn't have a plant from Hannah yet. And I've just had a much different relationship with this El Choco Red versus the ones that I imported. I think it's because I've just seen it grow from nothing into this, and it's just been kind of crazy to watch. I feel like I'm definitely the type of person now that doesn't immediately go for like the biggest plant that I can get, the biggest leaves that I can get. I'm definitely more realistic in my space. I'm more realistic in my abilities to acclimatize or keep them looking that way, sort of in the longer run. But growing plants from stumps and babies now are like my jam. I love it so much. Some of my small props right now are some of my favorites. And yeah, it's just that bonding experience, I guess, with your plant and just seeing them grow into a big, beautiful plant. And I was heartbroken when I saw, I'm sure pretty much everyone who follows me probably follows Fern. She did a video recently about some of the plants that she's struggling with a little bit, and her El Choco Red took a little bit of a hit. It is so windy, you guys. Like, I feel like the building is shaking. Yeah, I was sad to see that her El Choco Red took a hit. I know how much she loved that plant. That was like her pride and joy. She grew it from such a small plant, and it was so beautiful. And I totally understand that sort of disappointment of seeing a plant like that specifically go downhill. It's different like if I import a plant and it goes downhill. Yeah, obviously I don't like seeing money disappear, but it's not like we don't have like that established relationship, you know. But if it was something like my Glorious or my Tortum, plants specifically that I've seen grow from nothing into something, I would be upset too. And I think that's natural. There is a certain amount of just, I guess, acceptance that we have to accept in the hobby that we're in. But yeah, like she said, it's normal to feel sad or disappointed when something goes downhill after you've been kind of babying it for a while. Don't feel guilty if you feel those things. It's, you know, these are our babies, and it's sad to see them not do well. But the good thing is that they're plants and they grow, and sometimes it's like when you see it take like a downhill turn and then it like comes back to life, it's even more rewarding and satisfying. So hang in there, Fern, you got it. Hopefully mine gets as big as hers soon. But yeah, this is another one that I'm just really loving right now that I grew from basically nothing. So you guys have seen this one. I can't remember which video it would have been, maybe one of my week of plant to-dos. This is my Philodendron Esmeraldense Narrow. I acquired this as a single leaf cutting, which feels like, I don't know, I think it was in the beginning of 2020. I got this from my friend Ren, and it has been such a slow grower. It did not want to size up for me. The leaves were about this small for a while, and I just was not seeing any type of leaf growth. Pudge is like itching to get out of the bedroom. But as soon as I got it onto this lazy pole and I started growing it in my my Mars Hydro tent, it just has taken off. So this one is the second newest leaf, which has like really nice ribbing and stuff. But I actually didn't see this one until today. This new leaf is like getting much longer, and we still got that really nice ribbing, and I'm just sorry, I'm like on hyper alert with spider mites right now, but I am using predatory mites so I can see some of those little mite boys crawling around doing their job. So anyway, yeah, this one is really exciting for me because I feel like I have been so patient with this thing. I don't know. There were certain times where I wanted to give up and I wanted to just chuck it and just buy or just import one that was already a decent size because, you know, I was starting to fall out of love with it. But this is one of those plants that just reminded me that patience is a virtue. and that it is very, very rewarding to see a plant sort of glow up from a little baby. It's got a little bit of like foliar staining on it, but this comes off pretty easily. Yeah, I will throw up a photo of a mature Philodendron Esmeraldense, and they are just magical. They're beautiful. I've actually never seen a super mature one in person. I don't think I saw one at the last Equigenerer show, but I imagine that maybe the leaves get a little bit thicker because these ones are like, they feel just like a philodendron, like a heartleaf philodendron. They're very, very thin. They just, yeah, they're not thick at all. But when you look at the mature ones, they do look like they have like a thick leathery texture. So texture wise, it's not like I don't love it, but just the characteristics of it is what I love the most, especially when it gets really, really long and that ribbing gets more sunken in. I think this one is definitely gonna be worth the wait for me. And I am glad that I didn't end up importing one and that I gave it some time to just grow out of its weird preteen phase. And I feel like we're in like the teenage phase right now. Maybe we're still in a little bit of the preteen phase, but getting to the teenage phase. I do just have this one growing in moss and perlite. It is living in my Mars Hydro tent. As I mentioned, the tent is about 95% humidity all the time. This one I'm not feeding a ton right now, but I probably should be now that I'm actually seeing some significant growth. But otherwise, I would say it's pretty low maintenance in terms of the care and keeping it alive, but sizing up, you'll definitely need a pole. The next one is one that I have shown too many times recently, but I could not do this video without showing it. This is my Begonia SINBAD, and she is a monster. She's got a little bit of yellowing in the back. I did just acclimatize this one out from my Redsta cabinet. So my Redsta is very, very warm. It's not super humid. I would say that humidity is probably about 55% or something. But as you can see, it's large now, so I had to move it out and I just moved it onto the shelf. So there's a little bit of stress in terms of acclimatization. And then I didn't realize how fast the water was depleting out here. So I let it dry out for really, really long, and you should have seen this like 2 days ago because it's sitting on the shelf, right? All of these were down here. I thought I lost this plant forever. I've never gasped so hard in my life. And I immediately just, ran it underwater and kind of let them get a good drink, and now it's all perky and happy again. But I am experiencing a little bit of like leaf loss, I think from like irregular watering and just being acclimated out to the shelf. But this guy is so beautiful. I am getting slightly annoyed by these beautiful leaves because I find them on my floor all the time. It wasn't so bad in the Millsbo because I could just vacuum them up when they would fall on the shelf, but now these are ending up on my floor. So I don't know. I think that maybe from now on I'm just going to be chopping off the flowers, but I feel so bad because look how pretty they are. Don't look at my armpit. Look at the flower. Yeah, they're just the daintiest little things, but she's big. I don't really know what the plan is for her. I was thinking I wanted to make like a begonia tree, but I don't really know where I would put one. I think that once I offload some of my plants to Pearl, like I'm holding on to a bunch of plants for her. I think I'll have some space to actually get this on a proper pole because right now I just have it on a stick. I taped it to the outside, it's all crooked. And I just have it propped up with some Velcro right here. But yeah, I'm just bracing myself for the explosion of growth because I can already see so many growth points that are waking up and it's just nonstop. But yeah, I actually got this one as like I think it had 4 leaves on it from Alice. And then I chopped it to a single leaf and I gave the rest to my mom, and it was growing pretty steadily, and then it just completely died back and I was just down to a stump, like a leafless stump. And honestly, I was just gonna throw it out and ask Alice for another cutting because she said it grows really fast. I didn't believe her, but now I believe her. Yeah, I just was like, whatever, I'm just going to keep it in moss, and I'm just gonna stick it in my Mills bow and see if like the warmth will do it some good. And yeah, I started to get some leaves on it, and once the leaves started forming, I moved it into pon, and ever since moving it into pon, it has just turned into this. So if you're struggling with your begonia SINBAD, I definitely recommend using pon. You don't specifically need to use no drainage, but I can tell you right now that it is thriving in here and it's very happy. I don't think I'm gonna chop this one anytime soon. I am kind of curious to see how large it will grow, but I don't think that these stems are gonna be able to support itself for any longer. It's gonna end up trailing again, so I'll have to figure out a game plan for this one soon. My hair looks like garbage today, you guys. I didn't even try. I mean, I tried a little bit because I have a Zoom call today and I want to look somewhat alive, but I'm fading. My headache, my head is pounding, it's throbbing. Okay, so I think the next one I'm going to show you is, what did I just show you? The begonia. I think I'll show you this one. I don't like that. Sorry. I promise I'm not farting. This is an EPIPREMNUM PINNATUM ALBO VARIEGATA. I have shown this one recently too. I talked about how I was struggling with this plant. It's just the white melts off so fast, and I just couldn't really figure this one out. And I've heard that they're super easy, and I wouldn't say that they're hard necessarily, but it just wasn't as easy as I thought it was going to be. I have struggled a little bit with this one sizing up, but the pole has definitely been helping at least keep the leaves a decent size rather than them being like this small like they used to be. Don't mind the fact that half of it has melted off. This one is on one of the original lazy poles. I wanted to move it to one of the plastic backing ones, but I was like, you know what, no, I don't have time for that. And it's already outgrowing the pole really fast, and you can see all these like, these little weirdo roots poking out of it that look like mealy bugs. I do need to get this back in the tent soon before they dry out completely. So this specimen specifically has given me a little bit of trouble because I don't know, it's like the first leaf that I got from my friend Rob was a half moon, and I was like, oh my gosh, this plant's gonna be so beautiful. But I've just had a little bit of trouble keeping the white on here and not have it melt off like this. So, and this one specifically is just giving me half moon, half moon, half moon, or half moon white, half moon white, half moon white. But this is actually the first leaf that looks somewhat normal in terms of like a good marbled mixed variegation. So as much as I loved the half moon look on it, I'm hoping that more of this variegation continues, because I feel like this is gonna be easier to keep and not like melt off. I'm actually surprised that this one hasn't started to melt already. But yeah, otherwise, this one has just been kind of a challenge, but also pretty rewarding to grow. I am trying to get through this hump of sizing up larger than like a Cebu blue or something, but I think that we're gonna get there. I really just want to see some of that nice like pinhole fenestrations. They're so cute. They just go down the midrib and they're just tiny little holes and they're just adorable. But I think that once I get this onto a better moss pole, it's going to love it. But yeah, otherwise, I definitely just wanted to highlight this because of the fact that I struggled with it. I almost gave up on it a bunch of times. There was a point in time where it was just like a stem with like a petiole. I like chopped off the leaf because it melted off, but then I kept the petiole just in case there were any nutrients in there that wanted to go into the rest of the plant. And I just had it in the back of my tent. I was like, I don't want to look at it. I don't want to see it. And then I think that I included this in my video where I wanted to glow up plants. I can't remember if it was. I have too many videos now that I just can't kind of keep my timeline and keep track of what I've done. But yeah, I told myself that I'm gonna try a little bit harder with this thing, and I'm gonna stop letting it just kind of try and take care of itself. This one needed a little bit more babying. So yeah, hopefully we get some sizing up in the next few months. I definitely will be needing to repot this soon because it is already at the top of the pole and I can see another leaf coming out. This one is a fast grower. It's just, it either melts off or it just stays the same size. So we're getting it figured out. The next one is my Philodendron Soderini. Do not mind the crazy stuff I have going on. This is one of my pride and joys, which is why I'm using a lot of predatory mites on it. I don't want to get spider mites. Oh no, I can hear the lawnmowers. Okay, I'm gonna try and get through this one before they get close. So yeah, this is my Philodendron Soderini. I grew this one from a single leaf, and I got it back, I think it was Christmas last. Oh, it was not this last Christmas, but the Christmas before that. I got this one from my friend JR. He imported a bunch of Soderoy and Soderini and just gave us all like single leaf cuttings. And yeah, I've chopped this one back a few times, and this was the first plant that I ever got on a lazy pole. That's kind of where the lazy pole was born. It was just like this, but it was the net attached to a regular sphagnum moss pole because I didn't want to remove the plant from the pole. I just wanted to extend it and let it grow without disturbing it. And it actually turned out to be like the biggest blessing in disguise, because now we are at the point we're at where like the lazy poles are just game changers, and all my plants are just responding to them so well. So I thank this plant a lot for inspiring the whole thing. But anyway, this one is an incredibly fast grower. I cannot keep up with it. I just got this one onto a new lazy pole not too long ago. I think I did it in a video, and now we're already at the freaking top. So I'm not really sure what the plan is going to be for this one, if I'm going to chop it back and let it grow or what. I'm trying to not chop my plants back because I find that that's been contributing a lot to like the health, or it's been contributing to like the growth of them, because I'm not stressing it out. I'm not removing roots. But when you have a plant that's like this tall already with really long internodes, it's a little bit awkward to get it on like a really big pole. So I'm not quite sure. I do have roots down the stem because of the lazy pole. So it's not like I'm gonna be starting with like a rootless cutting or something. I will have roots to sustain the top. But again, just a little bit hesitant. Maybe I'll do it in a repot and chat and talk myself through it. This new leaf here is significantly larger than the one that came before it. This is like the size of like half of my index finger, and then this one is like my whole index finger. So pleasantly surprised to see this one come out, and the emergent leaf actually looks quite large. So yeah, this one has been a very, very rewarding plant. I think this was the plant that actually made me want to start hoarding Soderoys. I used to hate them because of how sickly they were growing, and it just took a little bit of time to understand them, understand what they needed. And if you are struggling with your Soderoy, the two things I'm going to tell you is get it on a pole and feed it CalMag like your life depends on it, because I promise you it's going to love it. All right, I've got 5 more plants to show you. I'm trying to make this one a short one before my head explodes, but we're taking a little bit of a philodendron break, and we're going to jump into 2 Hoyas. This one is a Hoya vitellinoides splash. Hoya vitellinoide splash. I feel like I'm saying that wrong. It's not like flowing naturally out of my mouth. But I got this one as a 1-leaf cutting from Jing recently. I think I mentioned this in another video that I owed her money and I needed to pay her, but my bank charges me a $1.50 fee for each transfer. So I was like, I don't want to send you like $10 plus this fee. Just sell me something so that the $1.50 feels worth it. And then she pulled this one out, and I was like, done, sold. And I'm actually quite surprised at how much splashier it's getting. I don't really have faith in my ability to keep splashy plants splashy, which is why I don't really gravitate toward them. But I don't mind, because this leaf as is without the splash is just right up my alley. It's beautiful, it's reptilian, it's dumpstery looking, and just love it so much. I just love this really like dark venation, and I love the abaxials of these. Like, just come on, that's so beautiful. I love photographing this one, but this one doesn't get a lot of love on my stories. I don't know why. It's so beautiful though. I am going to need to repot this soon because it's still in the vessel that Jing gave it to me in, obviously just perlite, but I do plan to move this to LeChusa pond. And right now I am spraying this one like crazy with my orchid spray, and it seems to be really loving it because After this one started pushing out, this one came out shortly after, and I can see another little bump here that looks like it's waking up. So I think I should have a nice little bush soon. But yeah, this one has been really, really fun to grow, and it's kind of become one of my new favorites, I think. I don't know, it's just so pretty. I feel like as time goes on, I'm starting to just really, really love the reptilian looking Hoyas with this splash. Before, I went for the round ones, I went for the fuzzy ones. I still love them very much, like the Hoya serpens, Hoya Matilde, Hoya obovata. Those ones are like my forever loves. But in terms of like long leaf reptilian looking Hoyas, this one's a slam dunk. So annoying. I can do this. My brain. Okay. Oh, I don't even know the name of this one. So I know this one isn't like a full plant or anything. I was trying to show you guys like larger plants, so it seems a little bit more impressive since I'm featuring ones that I grew from a stump or whatever, a single leaf. But I don't have many Hoyas that are really big right now that I grew from a single leaf, mostly because they grow at a turtle speed. But you know, I wanted to include this one because this is another one of my favorites. This is a Hoya SP Tangamus. I don't know. But this leaf is brand new, and holy smokes, she is a beauty. She's kind of like curled a little bit. I thought it was I was trying to go for the sword thing. Like you can literally like slice an apple with this thing. But this one's got a little bit of a sort of bend or curve to it. I don't know if it's because, actually I know it's because when this one was forming, it hit the edge right here, and then it started growing like against the pot, and then it never straightened out. Confession. But yeah, love this one. I am hoping for a full bush soon. I'm not really seeing any other growth points waking up, but I scoured Instagram to see like big pots of this, and I'm just really excited. I hope that I get there. This one is just in pon. I repotted this one recently, so I'm not really seeing a ton of roots, but I mean, it seems happy. It pushed out a new leaf in pon, and yeah, this one's been, I would say, fairly low maintenance, pretty easy, nothing much to it besides, I guess, warmth and slightly higher humidity than just ambient humidity. And then again, I am spraying this one with the orchid spray, like my life depends on it. Sorry, I blew through those very quickly because my ears are ringing now and my eyeballs feel hot. All right, we've got 3 more. You guys are probably so sick of seeing this one, but I'm not over it. I'm never gonna be over it. This is my philodendron HEDERACEUM OXYSARDIUM variegated, and I got this one from Jing. This one was a 1-leaf cutting. I don't think this is the original leaf. I think there were 2 leaves before this, or maybe 1. And look how much she's grown. I had contemplated letting this grow as a trailing plant on the shelf, because I was like, oh, how nice would that be to have like a nice big trailing, you know, philodendron on the shelf. But then I was like, but how cool would that be to see it size up a lot? And I can already see some pretty good size growth ever since it's been on this pole. There are tons and tons of roots in here. It's loving it so much. So I'm really not worried about chopping this one back to get it on a new pole, because I don't plan on extending this one, just because I don't really want a super, super tall pole for this specifically. Maybe not until the leaves get a lot bigger, if it does anyway. So I'll probably just chop it like right here. This one's my favorite leaf. Well, this one, I would say, yeah, this one is my, oh no, the mites went flying. This one's my favorite leaf, so I think I'll chop it right before that to keep this all as one plant. This leaf right here looks like it's going to be very, very white, like this one, but I love this one so much. I love the like dark green with like sort of that splashy mottled green, and then I can't explain it. It's so beautiful. I actually love this plant a lot more than I anticipated I would. I don't know if maybe when I chop it, I'm gonna give a cutting to Alice, I'll give a cutting to my mom and maybe my sister. And then I think I'm gonna try growing a separate plant out on the shelf to have it trailing, so that I'll have one trailing one and one climbing one. In terms of care, this one is in my EXO. I find that this one is a heavy feeder. I'm doing both a foliar spray and then fertilizing in the pole, fertilizing in the substrate. I'm fertilizing with liquid gold leaf, MSU, and CalMag. Some of these leaves down here were like, they kind of have this weird sort of like shape or like puckering to it. Like it's not like a flat leaf like this or like this. You guys can see it sort of like indents in, and then a leaf like this that was a little bit sort of underdeveloped or just kind of wonky. Yeah, I wanted to try and get past this sort of weird phase that we had down here, so I moved it into the tent. So higher humidity, lots of warmth, and lots of fertilizer. This one is a fast grower, so it's going to be hungry, and haven't noticed anything in terms of like over fertilization or salt buildup or anything. It just seems to love it. I am doing a foliar spray more so than a soil drench or like a substrate drench. This one is not in soil, it's in pond. This was the example that I showed you guys of like the night and day of where the light hits, and then this one is just all in the dark. I was trying to brainstorm ideas of how I can avoid like the algae buildup. Not because it's like harmful for the plants, but it's just, it looks really gross. Like it looks like a swimming pool that has been sitting stagnant for like 8 summers without being cleaned. Like it just looks really gross. So I was kind of thinking of maybe doing like landscape fabric, like on the side that is going to be exposed to light, and then at least I can still check up on roots in the back. So maybe in the next repot and chat we'll experiment with that, but for now, yeah, it's love and life. Oh, and also this is a very, very thirsty plant. I do water this one quite a bit. I watered this one maybe 4 days ago, and there's already 0 water left in here. Yeah, also keep in mind, if you are going to be using a lazy pole or a moss pole and you're going to be submerging it into passive hydro, that moss is going to take up a lot of that water, so you kind of want to water a little bit more so that it leaves some for the actual plant. The last 2 I'm going to show you are the same kind of plant but 2 separate specimens. It is a MONSTERA ALBO. So I did like a dedicated video on this one that infuriated a lot of people. Apparently a lot of people don't know about air layering, or you know, when you redirect the aerial root into a separate vessel so that you can root it separately and then just chop. I did say in the video that I waited way too long to do the repot because all the roots started mixing in together which essentially connected both vessels via roots. And so it was just so much more difficult than it was supposed to be. It completely defeated the purpose of, you know, directing that aerial root into the pot. But people are like, this is so frustrating to watch. Why would you do that? You're so stupid. You're so dumb. Get a clue. Anyway, this is one of the propagations that I think I repotted this on camera. And this is the one that actually has 2 nodes, and one of them, they both woke up at the same time, but one of them just kind of died off and stopped growing, which is kind of expected. It doesn't mean that it's gonna be forever, but I just broke off the tip. You can see that there's still like a healthy growth point in there. I'll probably chop this one and separate this leaf from it so that this plant can continue to grow on its own. So this was actually the lower auxiliary bud from the bottom that was the winner, the one that woke up. So this was the first leaf to come out on it, and then came this leaf, like that sectoral variegation. This like marbling is so beautiful. This is actually my favorite kind of variegation on the ALBO, is when it has like this really, really minty color and you can just see like different hues of green come through. Amazing. And then I was actually pretty surprised to see this one come out. I didn't even notice it. It's on the back of my shelf, and gave me its first pinnation, and yeah, I mean, it seems to be growing pretty steadily despite just living in yucky perlite, not having a pole. Yeah, I find these to be so much freaking easier than ties. I will take an ALBO over a tie any day of the week, and yeah, this one's really fun. Unfortunately, this is not mine. This is one of the plants that is going to be going to Pearl. She got a new house and she moves in at the end of the month. Actually, I think she moves in a few days. And my mission has been to propagate as many as possible so that we can just spread ALBOs all over her house, and she can live her ALBO dream. Pearl is one of my closest friends. She's so good to me. She always feeds me and spoils me, and she's just amazing. So it has been fun babying these for her over like the last year or something, but I think I'm ready to offload them now. I don't want to get too attached because I am slightly attached to this next one that I'm going to show you, and she keeps telling me to keep one, but I just can't. I can't. They're so beautiful. They belong in a nice big beautiful house with windows everywhere. Not that I don't have windows everywhere, but I just feel like they would look a lot better in her new space. So let me show you the last ALBO. Here is ALBO number 2. I can't. This is the most gorgeous, perfect leaf in the whole wide universe. I did repot this one in my video as well. This one is in leca and soil in no drainage. Look at that beautiful, beautiful root. It has taken to this vessel like a champ, did not skip a beat at all. I do have it on a plastic lazy pole. This was the first leaf to come out on it. It was the teeny tiniest little thing. There used to be a large leaf attached to this, which was the one I propagated it from, but it has since died off. So it started with this leaf, and then it gave me this one, which really beautiful variegation. But just knowing Pearl, she loves the sectoral variegation. She loves like that creamy white variegation. So I was just kind of hoping for a little bit more than something that was, you know, like modeled like this, or whatever the word I'm looking for is. And then it pushed out this one, and I was like, okay, the genes on this plant is incredible. And then this one, I didn't even show her this new leaf yet. Oh, I should text her. I should text her. She's gonna be mind blown. Yeah, it has been very rewarding to watch this grow from a propagation into this. This isn't even the mother plant, but I feel like this one is going to upsize the mother plant in no time. And I'm just really glad that now she has another one. She was a little bit sad when I chopped up the ALBO, but I was like, look, if I'm caring for these, I have to be realistic with my space. But it was like almost as tall as me, and a lot of the lower leaves were just not looking very happy. So I was like, I'm gonna chop it. I'm making the executive decision. I'm gonna chop it. You will thank me later when you have a sea of ALBOs to spread around your house. And I feel like we're finally seeing the fruits of my labor. But this is the one that I'm getting very attached to, and I don't want to get attached to it because it's not mine. I did tell her that I was gonna keep the bottom stem that I chopped from it, but it rotted, it rotted, it rotted, it rotted so quickly. So unfortunately I am ALBO-less, but that's okay because I will live vicariously through her. I'm sure at some point she's going to want to chop these ALBOs, and I will be able to get a piece of it back. I specifically love this, the mother plant that I was working with, because it just has incredible genes, amazing variegation. Her mother plant pushes out a half moon leaf, and then a marbled leaf, and then half moon marbled, and it's the ALBO of my dreams. But yeah, I would say that of all of the plants that I showed you today, I'm most excited about this one just because I can see that the lazy pole is doing its job. We've got nice pinnations now, and I'm hoping to get some fenestration soon, maybe once it reaches like the top of this pole. It's got a long way to go, but I am just growing this one in one of my exos, the one with no doors. I haven't done like an updated plant room tour yet, but I do plan on doing it soon. But yeah, I removed the doors on my largest exos, so it's basically just living in sort of room humidity, but a little bit higher. And doesn't seem to mind it. I actually find that albos grow really well in lower humidity or just like ambient humidity. The mother plant has been living in my living room for a year now, and she's just tooting along. So I think that this one will probably have to come out of the EXO soon if the new leaf is much bigger than this. But that's okay because Pearl moves soon, and I might not even have it long enough to see another leaf on it, but I know she'll keep me updated. So this is one of my ALBO babies. I'm her auntie, and I will definitely visit her a lot in her new home. So that is it, you guys. I think that was 10 plants that I grew from a little teeny tiny cutting or a stump. And yeah, I love them very much. I'm very proud of them, proud of myself. I did not think that I would be able to successfully grow a lot of these, specifically the albos, because of my track record with ties, but they are two totally different beasts. I will just never trust myself with a tie again. But yeah, I am going to get out of here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. I kind of wanted to do a video where I showed all of the plants that I grew from like a rootless chunk, and I think most of those are going to be anthuriums, and the other ones, I just feel like I've been showing it so much, like my Jose Bueno, my Tortum, like I have just been showing those plants like way too much in like videos back to back. So I kind of wanted to take a break, but I think maybe at the end of the year, I will show you guys more plants that I grew from nothing basically, and hopefully you enjoy it. And if you don't, I'm very sorry, but I can't please everyone. But what I can do is end this video and take some Tylenol and drink some water because my brain's gonna explode. So thank you guys for watching another video. Thank you for being here. Thank you to all of the old and the new subscribers. We are getting so close to 10K. Once I hit 10K, I think I'm gonna release merch finally. It's not gonna be like Unplanned Parenthood merch, because why would anyone want merch that just had my name on it? I definitely just want some like cute plant themed stuff, and it would be really exciting to be able to sell it through YouTube. So thank you to everyone who has newly subscribed and joined the circus. So anyway, if you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up because it helps Pudgenize visibility a lot on YouTube. And without further ado, I'm gonna get out of here because my brain hurts. Okay, bye!